Hi, how you doing? Welcome to the nightly Brahmakumari's meditation sessions. We're in just about 20 minutes, sometimes a little less, sometimes it's a little more, where we just try to share our experiences, which I want to do tonight with you, our spiritual experiences and kind of practical spirituality, things that you can do to kind of improve your life. And tonight it's all about maintaining a good mood. So if you're interested in this, stay with me and share it as well. You know, for others that you might be looking at them and thinking their moods aren't so good. Maintaining a good mood, I mean, we have these moods, let's face it, right? Up, down, up, down. Lately, when we look at the world, it's a lot of down. It's as if the entire world is in one bad mood. And it's infectious, You see other people in a bad mood, other people who are feeling hopeless, who are feeling down and not too good about their lives or what's going to happen and what happens to you, right? Or I know for myself, I better speak for myself, I get in a bad mood. It can affect me unless I'm really, really careful that I don't get infected. As we get infected physically, we can also get infected spiritually and emotionally. And how does a bad mood show up to you? I was thinking about what is a bad mood. I mean, I can spot somebody else that is in a bad mood, and sometimes I can't even spot myself, A bad mood, irritable, a bad mood, not wanting to deal with anything. A bad mood is being critical with others. And a bad mood, it's like you can feel it. You can almost feel it a mile away and really be affected by what others are going through. And in 1 second, it's almost as if when we get in a bad mood, we separate ourselves from the world. We put up some kind of a wall and we're kind of like saying, don't touch me, ignore me, do not touch me. And it doesn't feel good. I mean, that's how it shows up, but how does it feel when we're in a bad mood? It feels, you just feel down. Again, as I was saying, I feel irritable. I used to really, when I look back in my earlier days, a lot earlier, I was a pretty moody person. Things would be good. I was in a great mood. Things were not going my way. I could get in a bad mood in a second. I could get out of it, but I was already in that bad mood, and it would take some time to get out of that mood. So I think the first thing that we can do, and first I want to say something else about it. Being in a bad mood it's not good on the body, it's not good on the soul. So if you're thinking, well, what's the big deal? So I'm in a bad mood. It's addictive. And the more of a bad mood that you have over time, it becomes part of your personality. It becomes part of your life. And I don't know if, I'm thinking of people that I've known who, I'm going to give you one example, and that was someone that I knew many years ago, who whenever I would say, hi, how you doing? It would be, if life was better, I'd be better. And I don't like my job. This was this person. And everything he said, if he didn't have to work at his job, he'd be happier. And everything was like one big complaint, which is, complaining person, that's a bad mood. And I remember that he was always feeling that once he didn't have to work where he worked, life would be good. And he did leave where he worked eventually. And I always wondered, what happened to him? Because I wondered, would he be happier? Would he be in a good mood? Suddenly you leave? I'm not so sure about that, because I think once you are accustomed to responding, or I should say reacting, with a bad mood, and it becomes part of your whole personality, very, very difficult to change, even if you're in a good situation. Why? Because, you're going to be in a good situation and everything seems perfect. Maybe you're on an island in a beautiful place in the world, and there's going to be something that you find wrong, something that bothers you, and all of a sudden the mood changes. And that's what moodiness, isn't it? It is. And we affect other people. As I was saying, that we can make other people feel badly unless they are really aware of what it is that's happening And I know that I can often be, and I don't think so much anymore, and it has to do with what I want to talk about today, and little tricks and, excuse me, little things that we've learned with the Brahma Kumaris over the years to avoid this and to stop being in a bad mood and to be ultimately to be in a good mood. I'd like to say all the time, but let's just go for like 90% of the time, even 80% of the time, excuse me. And so being in a bad mood, how do we get out of it? Okay, the first step is being aware that you are in that bad mood and being aware that you do have the capability of changing. And how you can change that is we're meditation, and just to give yourself some silence and go within, just go inside to yourself, with yourself. Get away from the external, get away from the television and the phone and the social media, get away from all of that. And just be with yourself. Learning to be with yourself is just, it's a beautiful thing. It really is. It's just a beautiful thing to begin to know yourself. Nobody knows you better than yourself. So, as you begin to know yourself, you begin to know what's causing it. So why don't we try it right now and get in touch with ourselves and see what comes up. So right now, let's have some meditation. And go into yourself, your higher self, your spiritual self. Again, leave everything behind. Leave your to-do list and your worries and everything. Right now, I leave all of that behind. And I get into a state where I'm just feeling one with myself, my higher self. I'm letting everything that's affecting me right now go. And I'm just focusing on myself as spirit, as beautiful energy, as light. Let me just look within and see that there is this other part of me that's so deep and so beautiful. And I forget that this is who I truly am. I've had glimpses through life. I've been sitting by the ocean or on a mountaintop or at a beautiful event with my family, and I realize what's important, what's truly important. It's love, it's peace, it's a feeling of well-being, and yet I forget. As soon as I get back into my daily routine and all my things of my life, of everything that I'm involved with and dealing with, all of a sudden it's out the window and I forget that beautiful moment. I forget that moment of just peace. But I can get back to that right now. And as I become more peaceful, I can become who I truly am. This beautiful being of light and love, and I can actually tune in to what it is right now that might be causing a bad mood. What's causing me to just feel irritable or dislike for someone or exhausted, just exhausted, even though I had a great night's sleep, or a feeling of just hopelessness? What is causing my moodiness right now? Or if I'm not moody now, what does cause it when I have it? And what it is that I can do to just learn to live without this moodiness, this up and down, this feeling of sadness. Moodiness comes first, and then comes sadness if there's enough of a mood, of a bad mood. So let me now look at myself, and I know my answer. I know what causes my moods. Let me be honest with myself. I can be honest. I can be my best friend. I am my own best friend. As I become friends with myself, closer to myself, I can know what truly affects me and what it is that brings me down and what it is that brings me up, that uplifts me and makes me feel good. It's like that beautiful day, or just a connection with others, a feeling of just enjoyment, enjoying life for no reason. There doesn't even have to be a reason to enjoy and to feel good. It doesn't have to be all about something with my work or something happening good with my family. I mean, those things do trigger a feeling of a good mood. It helps when good things happen. But things don't happen all the time, and difficult things do happen. And I can still choose to be stable, to have my energy positive and loving and caring. So let me now just focus on myself as a beautiful, beautiful energy, a beautiful light that's filled with love and caring, and I'm in a good mood. Let me transform anything that's causing even a trace of a bad mood into a good mood. So how do I feel right now? Let me just feel joy. Let me just feel feeling of like all is well. Everything is exactly as it should be. And as they say with the Brahma Kumaris, Om Shanti. Om Shanti. And so, getting back to these moods. I mean, there are certain triggers, you know. I was thinking about blaming others often. I know that it's easy when we get in a good mood. Maybe we're feeling good. We go to an event, we go to, a gathering, and someone criticizes us, right? Someone just says, "Oh, you look tired," or "You don't look good," or whatever, or "What's the matter with you? Are you sick?" And immediately, what happens? It's like up, all the way down. The mood is off. And I think that happens a lot. And then we blame others for our bad mood. If someone criticizes us, and I know I was really guilty of that, I would be very hurt if someone criticized me. And often, it was for my own good. It was someone trying to teach me something. I remember being affected at work by somebody that, a supervisor, criticizing some work that I had done in television, and I was so upset, because I thought that I had done such a good job and I had worked so hard to produce something that I thought was pretty good. And I said something to this person, and they said back, "All I want is for you to be a better producer. That's all I want. That's why I'm, critiquing you." And it was like, wow. I mean, here I was offended, and my mood went down, and I was offended, hurt. And this person just wanted to help me. So be aware of people who are, the word's maybe not criticizing, maybe the word is trying to advise you, being your advisor. Because we can't always advise ourselves. We can't always see ourselves, And often it takes another eye. And instead of distrusting people and thinking they're out to get you or hurt your feelings, or not care about you, often they care very much about you. And they want to be your friend and they want to help you. Or there's other people that just say things and they don't even mean it. They don't mean to hurt. They just say things. So the key here is to stop the blaming, especially when we notice it affects our mood. And often it's with the people closest to us in our lives, right? We don't always get so offended by a stranger, do we? We get offended by family, by good friends, by somebody at work. And so to begin to able to be very stable and not be kind of pushed over and affected, like almost like, those, what are those little toys in the water or something the kids play with? It bounces up and down and up and down, and, you push it down. And do we want to live like that, Or do we want to just be really stable and just feeling good? And I know our beloved spiritual teacher who recently passed away, left the body, Daddy Jenke, had a book out called Feeling Great No Matter What. And I just love that title, and I use that title in my mind every day. Feeling great. Okay, am I feeling great no matter what? Am I able to just feel good because I'm good, because I feel good, and not be, feel good because something good has happened to me. And that's kind of, I think we've been trained, and I don't know whether it came from society, family, to always feel as if, good things that happen to us make us feel good. And those are, that's like the dessert. It's nice to have that dessert, but you can't live on that dessert all the time. Well, I could, being the lover of chocolate, but I don't think that we can depend upon that for our well-being, to only expect things to happen. And of course, we know, that so many are facing so many challenges. If it's not one day for us, tomorrow is another day, and we don't know what to expect. And it could be our health, it could be our profession, our work, whatever, we don't know. And so are we going to be like bouncing up and down, or what's the answer? Well, again, the answer to me, through all that I've learned with the Brahma Kumaris and meditation over many years, is, again, to be okay and to feel good no matter what is happening. And to be able to see these things as just passing. Everything passes. Nothing stays the same. And what else is that whatever might seem bad can often lead to something good. It might be a situation where you're supposed to meet someone, but if you weren't in that bad situation, maybe you never would have met that person. That maybe changed your life. Just example, they didn't change my life, but I remember being in a car accident, not a bad one, but a few cars hit each other, and we had to wait for hours, and I was so annoyed because I was going to a luncheon, and it actually had to do with my birthday and somebody else's birthday, and I couldn't make it. And I was so annoyed that it took so long for them to come, the police to come and be able to do a report on all these cars that hit each other. And again, everybody was fine, and I was annoyed. Why did this happen? Why did this happen on this day of all days? So I was in a pretty bad mood on my birthday. And what happened was, I went over, got out of my car, I got tired of sitting in my car, went over on the side to sit kind of on a piece of stone almost. It was a little high, like just to relax. It wasn't stone, it almost seemed like a bench, but it wasn't really. Started to talk to a woman, and it turned out that we had so much in common, and that she had actually been to one of our meditation events, never could find our organization, was wondering about us for years. And this is in the days, actually probably even before the internet, you couldn't just click on and find somebody. And I said, we have to get in this accident to connect with each other and to meet with each other? Is that what this accident was all about? I think so. I think these things happen. So be aware that even when the glitches in life and the most difficult times, I believe, really lead us to something higher, if we're willing to embrace this idea. And I know personally that the more that I embrace this and the less that I blame or I feel sorry for myself or I get annoyed, the happier I am and the more stable I am. And when you're moody, you're not stable. You're up and you're down and you're up and you're down. And then there's confusion about life and what you can do. So, I think just to, maybe you're not quite, understanding all of this because you're thinking, oh, what I'm going through now, or what are people going through. But if you're to ask anybody years later or months later, well, what you went through, was really tough. Not that people heal totally from the horrendous things, but they often do look back. And I've asked people this question, and they'll say, I learned something happened to me as a result of that. I've talked to many people who say they never would actually want it to have been different because something happened. Maybe they went on to change the world because of what they went through. Maybe they went on to help others, or they were so profoundly changed from something very, very difficult that life was never the same. And so I think if we, again, embrace this idea that everything is happening for a reason, every single thing is happening to bring us to a higher place and to a better place. And everything is happening to just teach us, those teachable moments are there for us. not just for the teachers and students, but for us. We are students. We are spiritual students. And so that's to me what it's all about, being able to create this good mood and just to know that we're here to be happy and that we're here to just feel good in life, and only we can control this. We are steering the car, nobody else. We can affect what our ride is going to be like. Do we want a nice, good ride? A great ride, not always a smooth ride. You wish that life could be just perfect and smooth, right? But a few things I was thinking about that can help. Some very simple things that are kind of easy, but that can help uplift the spirit. Well, I don't know that they're easy, but they might seem, oh, I knew this, but just smiling, a smile can make a big difference, because when you smile, it affects your energy, your inner energy. Don't ask me how. I'm not one of these people that can tell you scientifically, but I do know it works. That when I get up in the morning and I smile and I appreciate and I'm happy for the day, and I start every day saying to the Supreme Soul, to God, whatever you believe in, to divine energy, I say thank you. I'm here. I'm here again. I'm up. And thank you, and I'm going to have a beautiful day. I say this every day, the first thing, because I notice that in the morning, in the early morning, I can get in touch with my feelings, my mood. And sometimes it's like I don't want to get up, but I know that if I get up and I meditate, which we do every single morning, and we take classes, then I can change that mood. So it's kind of like, be aware and then change. Check and then change your mood. And by being thankful and by smiling, just smile for a few minutes sometimes, not just for, a smile like that. Not a I don't want to say a fake smile, but a real genuine smile going through the entire body. And you just try that regularly and walk through the halls of where you work, or if you're walking in the park now, you're not at work, or you're wherever you are in your house, just start smiling, and you'll see the effect you'll have not only on yourself, on others, because don't we like to look at people who are smiling and you're thinking, well, what about with my mask? Well, even with your mask, the eyes smile, The eyes, you can feel the energy and the eyes. And so if you're smiling, people will pick up on your vibration. They'll pick up on who you are and what you're all about. It's amazing. What did they say? That in a matter of a minute, people get a feeling for you, right? They get a feeling for who you are and what you are. And don't they say that you like a person or don't like a person pretty quickly, which I don't think is a good thing, because that's judging, but you kind of have a sense of people. But the more that we can be in tune, and the more loving we can be, and the more just caring human beings, souls that we can be with everyone. So you're thinking probably, well, what about the bad people, right? There's so many bad, terrible people, and there are, but I think more spiritually, we might like to think they're not necessarily terrible, but they've done terrible things, and they've done bad things, but they're weak. Their souls are so weak that they can't control themselves. And it's not to exonerate them by any means, but to be able to look at someone and go, you know what, that's a weak soul, and, maybe there's hope, because some of the worst people have, you've heard stories of people in prison that have really changed as a result of education, a result of somebody loving them, somebody caring for them. And when we hear those stories, we feel really good, and we think, oh, it can happen. But then again, when we see terrible things happening, as we've been seeing over the last few months, we forget that there is hope for everyone, and not to totally give up on anybody. But again, I'm not saying that you can accept somebody who really does something horrendous or hateful, or, as we've seen, that's not about forgiving. It's that. I mean, I think you can forgive the soul, but not their actions. And I think just finally is just to be aware that you can change, that you really, really can change yourself, change your moods, go from maybe low mood, kind of cranky mood, whatever, to a high mood, to a happy mood. And as you become happier and you begin to feel better in life, I don't even have to tell you what happens, right? Others are affected by you, and you've changed their lives as well. So I want to say thank you so much for joining me, and if you can just share this online, and I just wish the best for you, and I hope that you have many, many, many good mood days. Om Shanti.